I had a few clients when I first started really focusing on mental health that were really honest and told me that our conversations had stopped them from taking their own lives. And it was amazing to hear, it was difficult to hear. It said to me that my dad's suicide wasn't in vain. If somebody can learn from what he did and benefit positively from it and see the other side and the opportunities that come from not taking your own life, then it wasn't in vain. And I just vowed to help as many people as soon as I realised how many people were helped just by me talking about it.
For the longest time, I thought I was being a wimp, and I thought, which is a stupid word, I thought I was being a wimp, I thought I was being over the top, I thought I was just being ridiculous. And then when I finally got diagnosed, like, this is depression, I was like, no, it's not. I'm just being stupid. I'm being over. Not that my mum or my dad had ever drilled that into me, it was society.
My name is Ken, I'm a barber here at the Shadow Gallery. My introduction to barbering came from pure ego. I loved getting my hair cut, wanted to find a website that told me where was good and bad in London, where I was working as an area manager. There wasn't one, so I created one and just got sucked into the world of hair.
My name's Ches, I'm a barber here also, and I own Shadow Gallery. I've also been barbering probably 4.5 to 5 years. I've had the shop it'll be 4 years in August, so about a year-ish before that, so about 5 years now. I choose between one.
Yeah.
Because I can't fit 3 more seasons.
Yeah, cool.
But hopefully someone will come along, mate. Yeah, so I say it could be a barber, it could be a hairdresser, it could be a colourist, it could be a hairdresser that does colour as well.
Yeah.
Kind of open to anything really. But no, nothing as yet.
For me, when I was actively trying to incorporate conversations about mental health into haircuts, I was surprised at how easy that was and how successful it was. I think a lot of it comes down to trust. You know, if you're going to trust me with a razor blade and you're going to trust me with your hair, and the option of potentially accidentally cutting you, etc., talking about your feelings really isn't a far stretch from that. And when I realised the impact it had on people through sort of customer feedback, I knew that every customer, every conversation I had, I wanted to try and approach in a really open way to allow people to talk.
I think a lot of the time the relationship that you have with a customer isn't, for some people, like Ken was just sort of saying, for some it is, you are literally just here to cut my hair, mate. They like coming in, but then you've got some where it is, I've had customers show me pictures of their newborn babies when I've only been cutting their hair for like 2 months. But then there's also that where I've had chats with customers where I've sort of opened up about how I suffer quite badly with panic attacks quite often, which sort of stems from my depression and stuff like that I've suffered with. So like they've then seen that and they've opened up about it and things like that. So I think people feel like, because this is quite I feel like a closed off space compared to a lot of other things, so they feel they can come in here and talk about all the things they might not talk about elsewhere, and then that kind of stays here when they go. So I feel like that's a big thing for a lot of people, I think.
I feel that there's a really fine line between hearing and listening. I think a lot of people hear people, but not a lot of people take the time to listen to people. And I think it's all about empathy and understanding and trying to put yourself into someone's situation that they're bravely explaining to you. And if you can't, it's just about taking the time to listen, reflecting on it, and maybe going away and trying to research and understand a bit into what they've explained to you. I think it's really important in our job. And it might not be about mental health, it might be about hair. You know, the consultation is something we're all trained in, and you have to listen. You can't just hear them, you have to listen to every fine detail in that consultation, because a bad consultation will result in a bad haircut. And it's very, very similar when a customer's opening up. If you're not listening, you're not going to have a positive impact on them at the end. So how many times is little man waking up in the night then?
Just once since then.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how's the missus got on with, like baby blues and stuff? She's been alright?
Yeah, no, she's been fine.
That's brilliant,
Really
man.
enjoying it. Yeah.
Was she affected
Not
by
easy
her first
sometimes.
pregnancy, or?
I don't think so, yeah. I think she was alright.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, she had a few little wobbles when he's had like a few bad days and not slept very well. But no.
I think it's like introducing anything new into your routine though, when it doesn't go particularly well, it's just incredibly stressful because you haven't dealt with that.
I think that's it, it's like you've got a bit more of a routine now, so.
In this job, you get a lot of conversations all day, every day. You speak about a lot of things, and again, we try our hardest to remember everything. But and again, you can't always do it. But I feel like actually listening just makes you a better person. I think it makes you a lot more like Kim was saying, a lot more understanding, your empathy, everything comes up. It's also, again, that's where the knowledge comes into it. Just be open about it. If you haven't experienced, I've spoken to, like Kim was saying a minute ago, I've opened up to show my sort of vulnerability to a lot of people, not to kind of like go like, oh, I can't wait for you to tell me what, or give me. It's just more, if I feel like there's something there, I'll be like, yeah. So like, yeah, I had a panic attack this morning and literally was on the floor having a wobble, you know, and I was just out of it, and you know, almost in tears sort of thing. That's not to kind of like be like, oh, give me, but it's more to sort of like, yeah, just go like, I'm a man, I'm opening up about it, that's fine. People sort of say like little things, like, you know, it's just doing little things, isn't it? Like, you know, making your bed in the morning can help you, like, you know, feel a bit better, like, you know, especially if your mental health's a bit bad. Yeah, exactly. And another thing that people always say about it is exercise, you know. If you're just sitting in bed all day, which I have done before, you're sitting in bed all day feeling depressed and miserable, like, it's not going to help you anymore sitting in your own filth.
Absolutely.
So it does help to get up and have a shower, or go for even if it's a walk. It doesn't have to be the gym. Go for a walk, go for a run.
Yeah.
Like that.
Sometimes the haircut is just a vehicle
Just that, innit?
to get you to a conversation, and I like to use that as a vehicle to get me to that conversation. Identify with mental health. The first thing you can do to help yourself is recognise that your mental health isn't at the point it needs to be. I feel like recognition is the first thing. You have to identify with your mental health. You have to own your mental health, and then you can go and find help. But for me, the first step is identifying with it and acknowledging the fact that it's not where it needs to be, and knowing that's okay. I find it really interesting because I've been working in mental health longer than I've been a barber, and I've seen society change its view for the better. Not enough's being done. I don't think enough will ever be done. You know, when my dad took his own life 16 years ago, suicide was the biggest killer of men under 45. 16 years later, suicide is the biggest killer of men under 45, which shows you that not enough's being done. What I'm really proud of is that I don't approach these subjects in society's norm. I do break the taboo. I do quite happily just stick the stigma in the bin. I'll ask the question, how's your mental health? You seem low, do you want to talk? I think it's really important when a customer opens up to you to consider your response. Firstly, you want to make sure that if you don't have a knowledge bank to pull from, you don't give advice, you just listen. I also work really hard to show my own vulnerability and try and relate to customers, which is a fine line again between gaslighting and narcissism and showing them my own vulnerability and trying to empathise with their situation. So I'm always very, very conscious. I don't want to be, oh yeah, I've done that as well, mate. I want it to be really clear. I'm telling you that so you don't feel less of a man for telling me that about yourself.
Whereas if I was booked in for sort of the afternoon, I probably wouldn't be up like, until about now.
Yeah, you wouldn't push yourself, would you?
So, because I've not really been working.
Yeah, no, you haven't had to, have you? Obviously, since you left your last job, you just had a bit of time with yourself, haven't you? Yeah.
So it's been like, obviously the training for this event has helped, but I'm looking forward to sort of getting a job again.
I remember having a regular that came in, and I'd never, ever, ever not seen him with a smile on his face, ever. Even if he came in like, oh, mental day, like big old smile on his face, and he came in one Friday, and he was just no smile on his face at all. And he just did not look. But when he left, there was a big smile on his face, and even just that was just absolutely, it was just brilliant. I didn't feel like, I wasn't like, oh, that's me. But I was like, if I've had any small part towards him walking out of here for his weekend and feel a little bit better, then absolutely. So yeah, anything like that. I've had a couple of people that have come in and gone, I haven't admitted this before, but you were talking about like your mental health last time. I've been sort of suffering with that, so it was nice to hear someone else talking about it. Some people might hear and go, that sounds awful. But it was a guy who used to be a team leader of mine when I worked in a call centre about 12, 13 years ago. And at first, when he first said it, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And over the years, I then realised exactly what he was saying, because he was an older gent, and he still used to go out clubbing and stuff like that with, you know, everyone, and he just lived his life. And basically, I remember talking to him once now, and he goes, you know, a lot of people kind of laugh at me, and I know he goes, but you're too long dead, which I know is horrible. As someone who really, really, my mental health comes around the inevitable anyway, so I won't go too into that. But at first, I was like, what? But we're not alive as long as we're, you know, you're too long dead. So when he said that, it was like, live your life, you know, take everything on that you can, the good, the bad, the heartbreak, everything, you know, mental, you know, he even said back then, and again, I wasn't suffering at that time, it's like mental health, everything, it goes like, just know that it's okay, like everything that happens isn't always, you know, even the bad stuff, it's okay, the bad times can pass, you know, you can get by things and stuff like that, you know, a first breakup, things like that, time will pass, you can get there. So I feel like I've tried to live my life with that, not sort of thinking like, oh, this doesn't matter because that's going to happen, but more so in the kind of, right, okay, just embrace it and just try to live life as best as you can, really.
I think it's important to remember as well that mental health doesn't have to be negative. People think of mental health, I think depression and anxiety, but it's also elation and happiness and love, and that's all mental health. It's just the positive side we don't often speak about.